All right, we're doing a unique Game of Thrones video here, spoiler etiquette, okay? So, John, I think there's a bunch of clear rules, and then the most important rule is the one that is not clear. We will hammer it out right now, and then everyone, the interwebs will know forever, okay? Those series of vacuums. Okay, so, A, if you've read the books, shut the fuck up, okay? So anything that isn't on TV, you should never say on the internet, correct?
Yes. I mean, I think that the setting matters. There's no reason ever to tweet out a fact that hasn't happened on the show yet. There's no reason to do that. If you're in like the book subreddit or something like that, or a forum, feel free. But on an open forum, respect the fans that have not read the books.
Respect the fans. Now, John has read the books. He's done the Game of Thrones reviews with us the entire time and never spoiled a single thing.
18 episodes, I don't think that I've spoiled anything yet.
Not a thing. He's the best anti-spoiler in history. Okay. All right, so that's clear. All right, number two is, if it's been like 2 weeks after the show, and you're still like, oh, dude, spoiler. Oh, come on. Come on. How long are we going to wait before we talk about it? You don't get to say like 2 weeks after the TV episode aired, oh, now you're going to tell me about Ned Stark. Yeah, dude, we're going to tell you about Ned Stark because we can't wait to talk about it, but balance a freaking reason on your spoiler reach. Am I with you? Are you with me?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely, like, this is specifically Game of Thrones spoiler etiquette, but I think that we're starting in the age of Netflix and these big HBO shows, we're starting to think about it for a lot of shows. I think that it depends on the show. If it's something as big, like a cultural juggernaut as Game of Thrones is, if you don't want it to be spoiled, it's on you to watch it quickly. Like that night, ideally, and if you can't, then there's the social media angle you need to watch out for. So other shows you might get a little bit more leeway, like you know, if Downton Abbey is going to be spoiled or something.
Right. So Downton Abbey. Are there any White Walkers in Downton Abbey or no?
I haven't watched it, but a lot of them do look quite pale.
Okay, all right. So that's a good point, actually. All right. So now these are the easy ones. I think this is also an easy one. Night of the episode, don't tweet. And I'm mortified that I broke this. And we hadn't laid down the rules yet, right? But this is should have been a clear rule. I watched it on even though I'm on the West Coast, I watched it on the East Coast feed, and I forgot that other people on the West Coast are waiting for the West Coast feed of HBO, and I went and tweeted something, and then people said that. I was like, oh, I tweeted too early.
You ruined it.
I broke a cardinal rule, and I felt horrible about it. So night of, just chill out. I know you're not going to. A lot of people are going to break that rule. Okay.
All the time.
Yeah, but like, and a lot of people.
But you don't want to ruin it for people. Like up until now, I thought that Ramsay Snow was the biggest living villain in the Game of Thrones universe. Turns out it's Jank.
I know, right? After and it was Joffrey. Oh, so I feel terrible. So night off, lay off of Twitter. Just give people a chance, and they've DVR'd it. They're gonna watch it later that night. I know they shouldn't be on Twitter. I mean, if I've got Game of Thrones on DVR, I'm not going within an 8-block perimeter of Twitter.
Or Facebook.
Or anything, or the interwebs. I'm not turning on the computer.
Or YouTube, by the way, because we try not to give away massive plot points in our descriptions, titles, or thumbnails, with one exception that we corrected very quickly. But other review shows, that's the only thing they put on their thumbnails. Like the Oberyn thing, that was every thumbnail that wasn't ours.
Right. So, okay. But nonetheless, don't tweet anything or put anything up that night. Now, here comes the hardest rule, and this is the one where we're going to have some debate. When can you start talking about it on the internet, right? So is it a grace period of 12 hours, like the morning? I mean, you know what I'm saying? 9 o'clock in the morning? Is it a grace period of 48 hours? We already know it's not 2 weeks. That's crazy talk. Shut up and watch it already, right? Okay, that's a rule we already laid down.
6 weeks.
Okay, so I'm torn on this.
The season after. So like, I think that I have a few general rules that I think make sense. So if you're gonna have a grace period, the grace period has to be at least 24 hours, because if it's not 24 hours, like nobody is missing it the night of and then they're waking up at 8 a.m. to watch it. It's Game of Thrones. They're gonna watch it the next night if they're gonna watch it. So I think at least 24 hours makes sense. But I also think the sort of message you send out is important. I don't understand, like maybe I'm not a great Twitterer, but I don't understand why you would go on Twitter and be like, oh my God, Oberyn's head was smashed. There's no point to that
Spoiler alert, what did this
Sorry.
It's only like a week after.
It's been 24 hours. So I don't understand why you'd send that. So I posted some spoilers on Twitter. I said, in this episode, kids, cover your eyes, this episode's gonna blow your mind. Like, you can sort of joke about it without spoiling it, and there's way more value to those tweets anyway.
He should have worn a helmet.
He should have worn a helmet.
And by the way, this is personal to me because 60% of the things that have happened in Game of Thrones, the dramatic events, have been spoiled for me. Ned Stark was spoiled, Joffrey was spoiled, etc., etc. Luckily, Oberyn was not spoiled and Red Wedding was not spoiled. So thanks God.
Those are the big ones.
And those were probably maybe the two big. Ned Stark was gigantic, though.
That's pretty big. Yeah.
Okay.
I think 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. When we're talking about Game of Thrones, like people want to talk about it. Matt is saying 3 days.
No, 3 hours.
3 hours.
What, Matt's off screen. Matt Atchity saying, "You're crazy!"
Look,
He's coming down the screen. Oh no! Here comes Atchity.
Spoiler alert, he's coming
in. So here's the thing: watch the show and get caught up, and otherwise don't complain about spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. No, look, that is so fair. And look, and I don't, right? If I haven't watched it, like I said, I'm staying off the internet, etc. Yeah. But I, look, I lean towards 12 hours because I want to talk about it so bad. 48 hours is asking too much. I think. I'm going to settle on John's, for me personally, right? I'm going to obey the 24-hour rule, even though I secretly think Matt might be right. Okay. I think the internet might come down on Matt's side. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We're doing a poll. We're going to do a poll on tytnetwork.com. What should it be? 3 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, or 48 hours?
Maybe 30 minutes. You could spoil the first scene halfway through the episode.
No. The only choices you have, is 3 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and 48 hours. John and I are on 24 hours, but don't let that influence you. You're the internet. You're not going to let anything influence you anyway. Okay. So we'll report the results next week.
Head down below the like button in the comments. Let us know what you think.
All right. God bless.